So this is Amanda, and tell us all about yourself.
Well, yeah, I guess briefly, for any of you who have not run into me, I'm very online, so you may have run into me. I have been working as a developer advocate for probably, I don't know, like 7-ish years now, maybe more. I don't know. I'm losing count. So that's always a good sign that you've been doing something for a while. I was developer prior to that. And then prior to that, I just had a really long and winding journey. Even getting into tech, it wasn't an obvious, this is what I want to do with my life thing. So I have a non-traditional route here, a lot of side quests along the way, but definitely found my people and found what I love to do. So happy to be here.
That sounds like a really fun adventure too. Okay, so I definitely want to hear about your long, windy road because I feel like a lot of us are sort of on that or have been through that and are either still trying to get into tech or just made it.
Yeah. So I kind of grew up in a family that like didn't value college or anything like that, like very blue collar family, all kinds of different jobs and things like that. And I also kind of grew up in the era, like dating myself a little, that like people didn't really talk to girls about math and science and things like that. Like those, we were funneled into softer professions. So it just never occurred to me. Like tech it wasn't even in my mind as an option. Not that I didn't think I could do it. I just didn't even think about it at all. So, I knew about computers. I knew people that coded. I liked to play video games. Like I was there, but I just kind of went a different path for a while. And so I was a massage therapist for a long time. That's what I did like right out of high school because I was also a theater kid. And as Naz now knows, sang classical music and some opera and went on those kinds of journeys. But eventually kind of got to a point where I was like, well, none of this is really going to make my life easy to sustain. There's no safety net. There was I didn't even have health insurance during that whole time. Like you have to take care of everything yourself. I don't know if it's still the same in those industries, but in these kind of like holistic healthcare industry, it's just like a service, any other service industry when I did it at least. And so you really are on your own and completely dependent upon your body. And so I was like, this isn't a good idea. If something happens to me, I'm really screwed. I'll be on my own. So I eventually went to college. And even there, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I got a degree in geography and geographic information systems. I lived near DC, so I knew that there were jobs at the end of that journey. I couldn't go to college just like for the romantic, like I want knowledge, bring it to me. Like there had to be a job on the other side of college for me. And I love maps. I really like geospatial data. It's just a really cool field to me. So I really enjoyed it. And my first job, I sat next to a software team. So I did a lot of mapping, but then also started kind of doing little things for them if they needed a map in an application. And eventually when a junior role opened on that team, I was recruited into their team and I never looked back and I've been in tech since.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it kind of was like a nice flow for you.
Yeah. I'm one of those people for a very long time. And for me, this worked. It doesn't work for everybody, but I just kind of said yes to everything and was always open to the idea that I just didn't know where I was going to end up. And like that was okay. So when things that were interesting to me came along, I would explore them. Like not like recklessly, but like rigid, like where I thought I knew what I wanted to do in my exact path. So I think that's why a lot of these opportunities, as they came up, I was able to say yes instead of finding a reason to say no or being scared or anything like that.
So between your career transition, I guess since it kind of happened naturally, but like, did you have any struggles or challenges jumping into tech?
Oh God, yeah, it was terrifying. When I got into tech, so like I said, I was mapping. That's what I went to school for. I have my degrees in that. Like I felt I was trained how to do that. When I was like poached by the dev team, I was like, yeah, let's do it. That sounds fun. And I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. And so this is a government contractor. So their main like bread and butter stack is like C#.net. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but like I knew zero things except for like maybe basic HTML, JavaScript, CSS, basic Python from doing some scripting for my mapping work, and then thrown into .NET by myself. Like the team was great, but they can't teach me. So I'd be around all these people that like had years and years and years of experience beyond me. Brilliant. And I'm just like, every day I have no idea what's going on. And so every night I'm going home with my entire laundry list of things that I nodded at the entire day and had no idea what was going on. So basically I'd say the first year of that like junior dev role, I would be at work all day trying to what felt like justify my existence. I can't believe they let me here. Why am I here? And going home every night trying to figure out how to make sure I knew, like I was learning something and actually starting to understand how to do things. And it took a long time for me to feel like I knew anything. And I'd say it took a good year for me to feel really comfortable in that role because I was really starting from zero. And with government contracting, it also wasn't just one type of contract. C#.net was their like main contracts, but there'd be like other little, you're like, oh, we have a mobile app contract. Oh, this person uses WordPress. This person uses. So you also had to like context switch a lot, which is really hard when you're starting at zero. And you're like, I don't even know the basics. And now I have to also consider these other frameworks. And oh, it's a contracted timeline. And oh, you can only work X amount of hours on this contract at any given time. But I think also that kind of environment really accelerated my learning in a lot of ways. But yeah, I basically had no life at all because I was like, I want this. I have to go all in. And I was given this opportunity. So I need to like rise to it and not expect that it's going to stay if I don't actually kind of rise to the occasion and do the work alongside it.
Yeah. So obviously you probably had a lot of imposter syndrome. our favorite little friend.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What kind of support system or like ways to change your mindset?
I'm not a great role model for this, honestly. I no, I like lone wolfed this shit. It was a terrible idea. Don't
Oh
be
no.
me. No, I didn't. The funny thing is, like all of you here in this community and online in Torque community and any other communities you're in, like when I got started as a developer, I didn't know that there were developer communities online. Like even at that time, I feel like it's even more ubiquitous now, but like I didn't know that people helped each other.
Yeah.
I thought I just had the people on my team who A, they are super helpful, but B, they're also really busy. And also C, I'm trying to like not look like they made a terrible mistake letting me onto their team. So I just solo panicked and lived in the tutorials and built things a lot. Like it was really stressful. So it took me a while to know that it wasn't like that people were out there. Because I didn't meet people in tech because I didn't really know anybody outside my team. And like the people I knew day to day from my like life were not doing what I was doing. So I just didn't know anybody. And I didn't go to conferences. I didn't really know about conferences. Like I was just working. So I was like, well, I'm going to just lock in and do this myself. And so, yeah, it would have probably been a lot nicer. I don't recommend it.
So did you have any routines or anything to just kind of like, I guess, decompress when you weren't, like glued to your learning journey?
Oh, okay. So I'm a big
Yes.
movement person. I was a big runner for a long time. Movement's a big deal for me. So yeah, anything I could do to either get out and run, get into a yoga class, something like that. And obviously like seeing your friends, like even though they weren't going through the same thing I was, in some ways it's also good in your support system to have people that don't give a shit at all. And you can step out of that mentally and allow your mind to break and just check into what's the rest of the world thinking about,
Yeah, especially because it does really occupy your brain like at all times. Like you have to
and you need a
disconnect.
rest. And also just to
Yeah.
remind yourself, like when it feels terrible, like there's a whole world out here. Like
Mm.
this isn't the end of the world. But it's also okay to be absorbed sometimes. And you, especially when you're learning and leveling up, like you do need to be really absorbed in something, I think, to get to that next level. But it's nice to step out too. It can be like refreshing, giving your brain a break. You can also solve problems that way and be more creative in your own focus area.
Yeah, no, totally. What are some, I guess, like some of your transferable skills
That's good.
that I guess sort of made you attractive to the dev team, maybe, or just in general that you're able to carry with you and, utilize daily?
In that particular scenario, the geospatial skills that I already had were very necessary to the team. So they had seen me do technical tasks before and technical problem solving. There's a lot of professions that are very technical in nature, and the way you approach problem solving, the way you think is actually very similar to development. It's just you're not writing the code. I mean, honestly, we're all not writing the code now as much anymore either. So there's that. But at this time, that was a bigger deal. So I think like I had the business knowledge that they knew they needed as far as kind of the geospatial nature of that organization. And then they had seen me do some technical tasks. So there was this assumption that I could figure it out. Like they trusted me based on the few smaller tasks that they had given me, like maybe making a small web map for something they needed. And just honestly, I assume all of you in here are probably familiar with Leon Noel and his, I can't remember. He mentioned it again. I don't think this is from him, but it was that book again, where like that don't eat lunch alone kind of mantra that he talks about. And I think that's from a book, but I haven't read the book, but I've heard Leon say it.
Yes.
But that's a real big deal. And early in my career, especially, I would always go like sit and eat lunch around other people. So I met other teams naturally. And then you also build that bond that way. So it's a natural, like kind of social thing in some ways. If you're looking at like kind of an in-office move, like if you already have a job and you're like, I'd love to get into a different career path this way, make friends with the other teams too. Like just make friends with them and they'll get to know you and how you think and what you think about. And then like they slowly started giving me some random tasks. So when a junior role opened up, they were like, hey, would you want to go for this?
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. I feel like it's super hard with everything being remote now. Obviously, there's like way less women in tech. And, people have even told me before March that they were like, yeah, but you're a woman. Like, you have a bigger chance or whatever. Like, are there any like misconceptions or like things that you yourself notice, even just like walking into a room?
Yeah, you get thick skin as a woman. So you do get to a point where you're like, it just doesn't even, nothing really phases you. For work, I've been very lucky. I've never experienced some of the really kind of horrible toxicity that I've heard plenty of stories of. I've always been in really supportive environments, a lot of times with women as part of the leadership, women engineers, and things like that, to a less percentage, but more welcoming environment. I'd say where you do still see it is every once in a while, I definitely still get that people approach me as though I probably am not technical in any way. For better or worse, the way the developer relations profession has evolved, has expanded beyond kind of its original scope. And there are people that have never worked as developers that do developer advocacy. And so because of that and just people being jerks, sometimes people assume that developer advocates are not technical now. And so you've got dealing with women, dealing with the kind of abstract nature of the definition of developer advocacy, and that it does now include people that are a wider spectrum than it used to. And people like to come with their own base kind of assumptions. So every once in a while I will notice that. And then I'm just depends on the vibe on if I want to engage with it at all. I find for me at least, and everybody's different, is that I usually find it's not worth my time to engage with people that come with their own assumptions about who I am and what I know how to do.
Yeah, I do feel like end up developing a thick skin. It's like, do you want to let someone get away with their perception or like statement?
I find that it's not usually. Every once
Yeah.
in a while I'll engage, and I almost always regret engaging. And it's because it's, especially if it's online, because people that are hiding behind their crappy comments online are worse to deal with than people in person.
Totally. I agree.
I will, however, stand up for other women, especially because I've just, I've just been around for a while at this point. So if I see younger women that maybe haven't found their footing, I will step in if I ever would need to. I've definitely been in scenarios where I felt like a younger woman was not being given an opportunity in a meeting or being spoken over, having their work spoken for. And I definitely have interrupted and been like, hey, actually, she built this. So I take more issue when I see it happen to like women that are coming up now than to myself. I'm just like, ugh, for me, I'm not as worried anymore.
Yeah, that's really cool. So now that you are more established, you're well known, what's a bad day for you? And like, how do you handle it and come out of it?
I'd say now, because like I said, it's more like the longer you do something and the more you get known for doing something, especially a very public facing role like this, it's easier for me to get burnt out now than it used to be because there's a lot of people that ask for my time now. And so I'm in the process of learning, like I said, how to say no better and know who to say no to and like how, and like in a graceful, like I appreciate people bringing opportunities to me and ideas and partnerships, and I don't want them to stop, but I just physically can't do all of it. So right now I'd say it definitely looks like me doing too much, working too many hours, and then just not being myself. Like you get that kind of mind racing, you can't calm down. So then like you feel like you're communicating poorly. Your brain hasn't had a chance to chill. Your sleep gets better or work better. I wish it did because like you're going. So, and then I usually just have to kind of like hard reset that, like just kind of like dig in, do my physical activities. Physical activities is always for me. Do my yoga, do my meditation, reset all that shit. If it's this job, and you probably have this issue too, you're very online a lot. So it is really hard to step away from your computer, step away from your phone. Like I will put that shit on a different floor in my house, go out without anything thing that I can connect to anything with. I have to like really very, very consciously think about it right now because I'm still in that process of learning that balance now that I am getting more requests for my time than I used to.
Yeah. And real quick on that note, thank you so much for making time.
If you follow me, you already know, but I'm working at Vappy now, which is a voice AI orchestration platform. Voice is a whole lot of fun. So if you are interested in building for voice, you can also reach out to me about that. I love to talk about it, love to help people learn kind of all the different things you can do with a voice layer as an interface.
I feel like most conferences are pretty well organized, but you can tell the ones that are like,
Yeah, and the ones that really
key.
care, like you can just tell who really, really cares about the developer community and like making sure the space is centered around their needs and bringing people together in a way that's fun and also like useful for folks no matter what stage of journey they're in. So I think they did a really good job at balancing events and like the vibe around that.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who came, joined us, supported us in the chat. I'm sorry that I was a little bit distracted when they started joking around.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.